Bhukti, mukti, spruha yavat. Whatever inclination a person has within his heart, spruha yavat, that is pisachi. Pisachi hridi vartate. Tavad bhakti sukhasyatra. Ni bhakti sukhasyatra. Bhakti sukhasyatra. Katham abhyudayo bhavet. So, how can the happiness of bhakti arise in the heart when the witch of desire for enjoyment and liberation remains there? So, whoever is interested in bhakti and mukti, their bhakti cannot come. Bhakti is there only for one who has no desire for bhakti and mukti. That is why bhakti surpasses liberation. That is the topic for. And so many quotations how bhakti even surpasses liberation. One can understand, okay, bhakti surpasses material enjoyment. But how is mukti also a pisachi? That somebody can think of. Why everybody wants mukti? Because 4 purushartha, that is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. In the 4th purushartha, moksha is the goal. But bhakti is pancham purushartha. That means bhakti has crossed even the liberation. So what are those quotations? So from different chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures, the evidence has been put, yes, devotional service even surpasses liberation. So let us see. 4th canto, 20th verse, 24th chapter. Tatraiva Srimad Adirajoktau न कामयेनाथ तदपि अहं क्वचिन् न यत्र यस्माच्चरणाम्बुज भुजासवः महतात्मन्तर्हृदयान् मुखच्युत विदत्स्वकर्णायुतं ईश मे वरः. Prithu Maharaj is speaking. O Lord, I do not wish to have benediction of merging into your existence. A benediction in which no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. I want the benediction of at least 1 million years. For thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet in the mouth of pure devotees. So he says, I don't want to merge in your existence. I don't want a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. What is the use? What is the use of anything which is devoid of your lotus feet? I don't want such benediction. And what do you want? I want millions of years. Why? There are millions of preachers glorifying you. So I want to have millions of years so that I can hear each and every preacher glorifying you. There are so many people speaking about Krishna. There are so many saints, sadhus, realized souls speaking about Krishna. So here the desire is I want to hear everything. And for that 2 years are not enough. So that is this, I should have millions of years to hear millions of your glories. So Prithu Maharaj is desiring this. And he says, I don't want liberation. Okay. Next, the two verses now. Krishna Priya Mataji, read the first 2.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Devotional service surpasses all liberation. How much a devotee is seriously attached to the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood from the statement of Maharaja Prithu, which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter and verse 24. He prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead thus, my dear Lord, if after taking liberation, I have no chance of hearing the glories of your leadership, glories chanted by pure devotees from the core of their hearts in praise of your lotus feet. And if I have no chance for this honey of transcendental bliss, then I shall never ask for liberation, or this is so-called spiritual emancipation. I shall simply always pray unto your lordship that you may give me millions of tongues and millions of ears, so that I can constantly chant and hear of your transcendental glories. Shall I continue next paragraph also, Mataji?
Yes. 2 paragraphs are for this one.
Okay. The impersonalists desire to merge into the existence of the Supreme, but without keeping their individuality, they have no chance of hearing and chanting the glory of the Supreme Lord, because they have no idea of the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord. There is no chance of their chanting and hearing of his transcendental activities. In other words, unless one is already beyond liberation, one cannot relish the transcendental glories of the Lord, nor can one understand the transcendental form of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Now next next verse, 31st verse. पंचमे श्री सुखोक्तौ योदिष्टयजान् क्षितिसुत स्वजानार्थदारान् प्रार्थयां श्रियं सुरवरै सुदयावलोकां नैचं नृपस्तदुच्चितं महता मधुद्वित् सेवानुरक्तः मनसामभवोऽपि फल्गुः. 5th canto 14th chapter 44th verse speaks about this. Wait. Yeah. So here the son of Rishabdev, Bharat Maharaj is speaking about Bharat Maharaj. This is Sukadeva Goswami is speaking. The king Bharat Maharaj gave up everything that was difficult for others to give up. He gave up Dushtayajan, Kshiti Sutta. He gave up his kingdom, his wife, his family. His opulence was so great that even the demigods envied it. Yet he gave up that wealth endowed with attractive glances. It was quite befitting for great devotees whose minds are attracted to the service of the enemy of the Madhu demon. Indeed, even liberation is considered insignificant for those whose minds are attracted to the loving service of the Lord. So why did he give up all these things? Because he was attracted to the loving service of the Lord. Or in other words, to give up all these things, it can be only one thing. If that love for Krishna is there, it is very easy to give up all the opulences, the family members, everything can be given up. And everything is just insignificant before the loving service of Krishna. Okay. Neeraj Prabhu, please read.
Okay, so I am reading and I'm also then...
Third chapter.
Okay.
Third paragraph.
Yes, ma'am. So, a similar statement is also found in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 14th chapter, verse 44. Shukdev Goswami addresses Parikshit Maharaj there and says, the great king Bharata was so much attached to the service of the lotus feet of Krishna that he very easily gave up his lordship over the earthly planet and his affection for his children, society, friends, royal opulence, and beautiful wife. He was so very lucky that the goddess of fortune was pleased to offer him all kinds of material concessions, but he never accepted any of these material opulences. Shukdev Goswami praises this behavior of King Bharata very highly. He says, any person whose heart is attracted by the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Madhusudana does not care even for that liberation which is aspired to by many great sages, not to speak of material opulences.
So intentionally, Madhusudana. Madhu is the demon. So demon of this desire for material attachment can be easily given up if service to Madhusudana is there. because Madhusudana will kill such demonic tendency. Okay, that is why intentionally Madhu has been put. Madhu. Some places it is said there is a Madhu who was a relative of Krishna. Another place it is said no, he is a demon. Madhu and Kaitab. They were the first demons coming from the earlobes of Brahma, asking Brahma the benediction to fight with Krishna and the power also to fight with Krishna. And also the desire that they should not be killed in the matter. So all these desires they asked. Krishna keeps them on the lap and crushes them because Krishna's lap is not matter. So one has to come out of this material attachment. That is why Madhusudana, when Krishna is addressed in one name, there signifies that verse. Now, 32nd verse. Shashte Shri Vrutroptau Vrtrasutroptau Nanakapristham Nacha Paramishtham Na Sarvabhaumam Narasadhipatyam Na Yoga Siddhi Apunarbhavam Va Samanjasatva Virahaya Kangshiye. So here Vritasura says, oh Lord, you are the source of all opportunities. That means if I desire something, you can easily give. You are the source of all the opportunities. If I want that opportunity, you will give. But I do not want to enjoy in Dhruvaloka. Now Dhruvaloka is considered topmost. After that, I don't want Brahmaloka. I don't want earthly planet. I don't want lower planet. I don't want any siddhis. I don't want any liberation. Now just see from upper to lower. Now, Ashtanga Yoga, that is siddhi and liberation, is not even counted in lower planetary system. Because Ashtanga Yoga and siddhi, and that is siddhis and liberation, there is no love for Krishna. Especially liberation is merging with the Supreme Lord. There, bhakti is not there. In Ashtanga, if you compare Ashtanga Yoga, that is Siddhi, and Mukti, that is liberation, Ashtanga Yoga is somewhat better. Siddhi is somewhat better. But both of them are considered lower than even the lower planetary system. It is down than even the lower planetary system because bhakti is not there. Dhruvaloka, where Lord eternally resides. But here it is said, I don't want that also. I don't want Brahmaloka also. I don't want earthly planet. I don't want lower planets. I don't want siddhis. I don't want mukti. If I have to give up your lotus feet. Diyamanam na pashyanti. Vinamat sevanam jana. I don't want salokya, Shastri, samipya, sarupya, ekatvam. I don't want all these things. If it is not giving me a devotional service. Same thing has been expressed. Even from the topmost to lowermost, I don't want anything. If your lotus feet is not, if I'm not getting your lotus feet, what is the use? Okay. Continue reading, Dheeraj Prabhu.
So in the Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 11th chapter, verse 25, there is a similar statement by Vritasura, who addresses the Lord as follows. My dear Lord, by leaving your transcendental service, I may be promoted to the planet called Dhruvaloka, the pole star, or I may gain lordship over all the planetary systems of the universe. But I do not aspire to this, nor do I wish the mystic perfections of yoga practice, nor do I aspire to spiritual emancipation. All I wish for, my Lord, is your association and transcendental service eternally.
Yes. Your association and transcendental service eternally. Now, 33rd verse. Tatraiva Shri Rudroktau Narayana Para Sarve Nakutaschana Vibhyati Swarga Pavarganarkeshwapi Tulyartha Darshinaha Tulyartha Darshinaha Narayana Para Sarve. one who is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, na kutaschana vibhyati, they never fear for any material condition. So for them, Swarga, Apavargaha, Narka, Apavarga, Swarga means heavenly planets, Apavarga means liberation, and Narkaha, hellish planet, they are all one and the same. Tulyartha Darshinaha. So they are not interested, they consider all these three, whether heavenly planet or liberation or whatever, or the hellish planet, for them everything is same. So they are only interested in devotional service. Okay, Anuja Prabhu, you read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This statement is confirmed by Lord Shiva in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 17th chapter, verse 28, wherein Lord Shiva addresses Sati thus: My dear Sati, persons who are devoted to Narayana, Krishna, are not afraid of anything. If they are elevated to the higher planetary systems, or if they get liberation from material contamination, or if they are pushed down to the hellish condition of life, or in fact, in any situation whatsoever, they are not afraid of anything, simply because they have taken shelter of the lotus feet of Narayana. For them, any position in the material world is as good as another.
Okay, 34th verse. Tatreva Indroktau, now what Indra is telling, let us see. Aradhanam Bhagavata Ihamana Nirashishaha Ye tu nechanti api param te Swartha Kushalaha Smritaha. So Indra says, those who are interested only in worshipping the Supreme Lord, who do not desire anything material from the Lord and do not want liberation, are expert at understanding what is more beneficial for themselves. So they don't want bhakti, they don't want mukti from Lord. They know what is beneficial for them. What is the beneficial? They just want Krishna. When Krishna is asking Duryodhana and Arjuna, what you want, my Narayani Sena or myself? Then Arjuna was very expert. Arjuna is expert to ask Krishna for him. He is not interested in bhakti, he is not interested in mukti also. So they know what is more important for them. Okay, continue reading, Anuja Prabhu.
There is a similar statement by Indra, the king of heaven, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 18th chapter, verse 74. There Indra addresses Mother Diti in this manner: My dear mother, persons who have given up all kinds of desire and are simply engaged in devotional service to the Lord know what is actually their self-interest. Such persons are actually serving their self-interest and are considered first-class experts in the matter of advancing to the perfectional stage of life.
Yes. Now,
Mataji, one question I have in this. What is this? They are serving their self-interest.
Yes, self-interest is Swarthagatim hi Vishnu. There is a self-interest. Swarthagatim. Swa-artha. What is that Swa-artha? Always serve Krishna. Want love of Krishna. That is more important. Saptame pralhadaktau. क्या शब्द है भाई? तुष्टि. तुष्टे तत्र किम अलभ्यम अनंतराद्ये किम तैर्गुण व्यतिकराद इह ये स्वसिद्धिः धर्मादयः किम अगुणेन च कांक्षितेन सातं सारं जुषां चरणयोर Upagayatam Naha. 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj speaks. A devotee doesn't desire anything. Nothing is unobtainable, but he doesn't desire. Nothing is unobtainable for devotees who have satisfied the Lord, who is the cause of all causes, the original source of everything. The Lord is a reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities. For devotees, therefore, who are transcendental to the modes of material nature, what is the use of following the principles of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, which are all ये क्या शब्द है? Which are all automatically obtainable under the influence of the modes of nature. We devotees always glorify the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore we need not ask for anything in the name of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So nothing is unobtainable for a devotee. If he wants, he can do it. Krishna is there with him. He is serving Lord. But he is not interested in Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. If he wants, also he will get. But he is not interested. If you want opulence, he can get. But he is not interested. He is interested in serving Krishna. And for that thing, if he gets something, then he aspires only for that thing. That is how to serve Krishna the best. Okay, Vandana Mataji, read. Where are you? She's Gayab.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, my father. Hari Bol.
I'll do front camera Mataji.
Yeah.
Prabha.
Hare Krishna.
जोर से
Appa.
मम्मी
मम्मी
Mataji.
क्या मैं
प्रभा
Hari Bol, Hari
नहीं
Bol.
ठीक है
तो क्लास चल रहा है
दिखता नहीं
नहीं दिखता है अच्छा
मम्मी से बात कर
आवाज
आवाज तो है ना full
Pana vakkere, ha? Apna pesa. Amma. Chalo pana vakkere. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Okay. So 35th verse. Who will read?
एकदम सामने मत रहो.
I read it Mataji.
Yeah, you read.
In the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, 6th chapter, verse 25, Maharaj Prahlad says, my dear friends, born in the
तेरा सामने
aesthetic
Mute your phone, Prabhu. Mute your phone and just keep the video on. Mute your phone. Yeah. Now read, Mandana.
Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear friends, born in the aesthetic families, if you can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, then there is nothing more rare in this world. In the other words, if the Supreme Lord Krishna is pleased with you, then any desire of you may have within the core of your heart can be fulfilled without any doubt. As such, what is the use of elevating yourself by the result of fruitive activities, which are automatically achieved in all events by the modes of material nature? And what is the use for you of spiritual emancipation or liberation from material bondage, if you are always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord and always relishing the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord, then there is no necessity for any of these. By this statement of Prahlad Maharaj, it is clearly understood that one who takes pleasure in chanting and hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord have already surpassed all kinds of material benediction, including the result of pious fruitive activities, sacrifices, and even liberation from material bondage.
The desire for this four Purushartha is so insignificant for the devotees, because the devotees are only aspiring for the devotional service. They just want the lotus feet of Krishna. They just want the service to Krishna. So for them, this Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is insignificant. So various quotations from different devotees have been given. Prahlad Maharaj is also speaking the same thing. What is not obtainable? If a devotee wants, he can easily attain Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. It is said, Bhakti, Mukti, they stand folded hands before the devotee. If a devotee wants to progress in material life, it is very easy to progress, but is uninterested. Kulashekar Alvar says, even if I have the material opulences because of previous life karmas, whatever I have got, because of purva prarabdhas, I just want it to use in Krishna's service. I don't want to forget the lotus feet of Krishna. Yugagatam Bhakti Nischala. I just want to have Nischala Bhakti, undeviated, unflinching service to the lotus feet of Krishna. So now let us see what Indra says. Again, there is a 36th verse. Tatreva Shukrokto प्रत्यानितः परमः भवतः प्रायतः नः स्वभागः दैत्याक्रान्तं हृदयकमलं तद्ग्रहं प्रत्यबोधः कलाग्रस्तं कियत् इदम् अहो नाथ शुश्रूषतां ते मुक्तिस्तेषां न हि बहुलमता नारसिंहा परैः किम्. Indra is speaking. Oh, you are our deliverer and protector. Our shares of sacrifice has been snatched by this demon. This Hiranyakashipu is so fearsome. But you have completely overtaken him. Just by your presence, all this darkness of our heart has been dissipated. Oh Lord, for those who always engage in your service, which is more exalted than liberation, all material opulence is insignificant. They do not even care for liberation, not to speak of the benefits of kama, artha, dharma. So here Indra is speaking that whatever shares were there for you, O Lord, that was stolen by Hiranyakashipu. But then you overtook him. You overtook his greed and you punished him. And that is why now our heart, which was overfilled by the fear and the darkness, that is now dissipated. That has gone completely. The darkness is gone. And we are more interested in the service rather than material opulence and liberation. Okay. Narayana, read. Jumur. Keep your videos on.
Similarly, in the seventh canto, in the same seventh canto, 8th chapter, verse 42, when the demigods are offering prayers to Lord Narasimha, Indra, the king of heaven, says, O Supreme One, these demons talk of our share of participation in the performances of ritualistic sacrifices. But simply by your appearance as Lord Narasimhadev, you have saved us from terrible fears. Actually, our shares in the sacrificial performances are due to you only, because you are the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices. You are the super soul of every living entity. And therefore, you are the actual owner of everything. Long were our hearts always filled with the fear of this demon, Hiranyakashipu. But you are so kind towards us that by killing him, you have removed that fear from within our hearts and have given us the chance to place your lordship within our hearts again. For persons who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of your lordship, all the opulences which were taken away from us by the demons are counted as nothing. Devotees do not care even for liberation. What to speak of these material opulences? Actually, we are not the enjoyers of the fruits of sacrifices. Our only duty is to always be engaged in your service, for you are the enjoyer of everything.
Read the next paragraph also. The purport of this statement.
The purport of this statement by Indra is that beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, no living entities are meant for enjoying the material opulences. They are simply meant for offering everything to the supreme proprietor, the personality of Godhead. By doing so, they automatically enjoy the benefit. The example can be cited again of the different parts of the body collecting foodstuffs and cooking them so that ultimately a meal may be offered to the stomach. after it has gone to the stomach, all the parts of the body equally enjoy the benefit of the meal. So similarly, everyone's duty is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, and then automatically everyone will be satisfied.
So there's a verse in Bhagavatam which says, Yatha Moola Nishechanena, you offer to the root, everybody is satisfied. You offer to the stomach the food, the whole body is healthy. In the same way, you offer prayers to Krishna, every demigod is satisfied. Ashtame Shri Gajendrukta Ekantino Yasya na kanchanartham Vanchanti ye vai Bhagavat Prapannaha Ati Adbhutam Tat Charitam Sumangalam Gayantananda Samutramagnaha. Gajendra says in the 8th canto, who unalloyed devotees who have no desire other than to serve Krishna, worship him in full surrender, always hear, chant about his activities, which are most wonderful and auspicious. They always merge in the ocean of transcendental bliss. So for a pure devotee, doesn't need anything, he just wants to hear about Krishna. He doesn't want bhakti, he doesn't want material enjoyment, he doesn't want mukti, he just wants to serve Krishna. That is the one, there's a prayer even Gajendra is speaking. Gajendra is glorifying the nature of the pure devotees. They're always satisfied in having the transcendental bliss by serving Krishna. Okay, Mayapur Vasini, are you there? No. Okay, Gadi Prabhu, can you read? Gadi Prabhu, if you're back from office. Radha Prabhu, you read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Nam to you. In the 9th canto of the Bhagavatam, 4th chapter, verse 67, the Lord of Vaikuntha replies to Durvasa Munis thus, my pure
प्रभु आप एक पैराग्राफ आगे चले गए हो.
Where are you? A similar verse. Where are
similar
you?
verse. I have to start from similar verse.
Yeah.
A similar verse is
Gajendra, na? Gajendra prayers. Your voice is dragging, Prabhu. I think your net is not proper. Vaishnava Prabhu, you read.
Hare Krishna. A similar verse is found in the 8th canto, 3rd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse 20. Gajendra says there, my dear Lord, I have no experience of the transcendental bliss derived from your devotional service. So, therefore, I have asked from you some favor. But I know that persons who are pure devotees and have, by serving the lotus feet of great souls, become freed from all material desires, are always merged in the ocean of transcendental bliss, and as such are always satisfied simply by glorifying your auspicious characteristics. For them, there is nothing else to aspire to or pray for.
Okay, now 38 verse. Arija Prabhu, mute your phone. 38, 37.
Navame Shri
38
Vaikuntha.
verse. Navame Shri Vaikuntanathakto Matsevaya Pratitam Te Salokyadi Chatustayam Nichanti Sevaya Purnaha Kutonyad Kala Viprutam. So Lord of Vaikuntha is speaking in the 9th canto. He says, my Lord, my devotees who are always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service are not interested even in the 4 principles, Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, Shastri, although they are automatically achieved by their service. What then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher planetary systems? So what to speak about the higher planetary system? They are not interested in Salokya, Sarupya, Shastri, Samipya, being one with Krishna, being closer, sitting closer to Krishna, Samipya, Shastri, having opulence of Krishna, having the same beauty of Krishna, having loka of Krishna. They are interested, then they are not interested. What to speak of being interested for the heavenly planets also? They are not interested in all these things. They just want the service of Krishna. Okay, Krishna Priya, read.
In the 19th canto of the Bhagavatam, 4th chapter, verse 67, The Lord of Vaikuntha replies to Durvasa Muni, thus, my pure devotees are always satisfied being engaged in devotional service, and therefore they do not aspire even after the 5 liberated stages, which are: first one, to be one with me, to achieve residence on my planet, to have my opulences, to possess bodily features similar to mine, and to gain personal association with me. So, when they are not interested even in these liberated positions, you can know how little they care for material opulences or material liberation.
Okay. 39th verse. Shri Dashame Nagapatni Sutau Nanatha Prishtham Nacha Sarvabhumam न पारमेष्ठ्यं न नरसाधिपत्यं न योगसिद्धिरपुनर्भवं वा वाञ्छन्ति यत्पादराजो प्रपन्नः. Those who have taken Raja, Padaraja means the dust of your lotus feet. Those who have attained this, those who have got Vanchanti Yad Padaraja Prapanna means those who have taken shelter of your lotus feet, dust of your lotus feet. Just see, just dust of your lotus feet, not even the lotus feet, dust of the lotus feet. There's a lot of difference. So once it so happened, Vedanta Deshikar was told to glorify the lotus feet of Krishna. Whole night he was sitting to glorify the lotus feet of Krishna. Next day he comes with glorifying the what do you call this, the chapel of Krishna, Paduka of Krishna, Padukashtakam. There is a nice Paduka Sahasnamavali, like this, something is there, a nice name is there. Means whole night he was thinking of glorifying the lotus feet of Krishna. He could not reach there. He's saying, I am unable to first glorify because the glorification of the Paduka is so much that whole night was insufficient for me. Then only next is glorifying the lotus feet of Krishna. Paduka Namavali, like this, something is very beautiful that prayers are. Here also the same thing has been said. Just taking the dust, the shelter of the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna. Now we are not going till the lotus feet of Krishna, dust of the lotus feet of Krishna. That person, he doesn't want Dhruloka. He doesn't want Dhruloka. He doesn't want any sovereignty. He doesn't want position of Brahma. He is not interested in yoga. He's not interested in liberation. Just now we did that verse. Dhruloka, then Brahmaloka, earthly planet, lower planet, Ashtanga Yoga Siddhis, then liberation. He's not interested in all these things. Okay. Vandana Mataji, read 39th. Vandana.
There is a similar prayer by the Nagapatnis, wives of Kalyasati, in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 16th chapter, verse 37. The Nagapatni says, Dear Lord.
Why are you saying Nagapati? Nagapatni.
Nagpatni. The Nagpatni says there, Dear Lord, the dust of your lotus feet is very wonderful. Any person who is fortunate enough to achieve this dust does not care for heavenly planets. Lordship over all the planetary systems, the mystic perfection of yoga, or any liberation from material existence. In other words, anyone who adores the dust of your lotus feet does not care a fig for any or other perfectional states.
Yeah. Do not care for any so-called. You've read the whole thing?
Yeah. Does not care a fig for all other perfectional stages.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. Now, for today's last is, it's the 87th verse from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 21st verse, 40th one. Tatreva Shri Veda Shrutau दुरवगमात्मा तत्त्वनिगमाय तवाति तनोति चरितः महात्मदीपरिवर्तः परिश्रमानः न परिलशन्ति केचिदपवर्गम् अपीश्वरते चरणसरोजहंसः कुलसङ्ग वृष्टग्रहाः. The Vedas are praying. Some fortunate souls have got relief from the fatigue of material life by diving into the vast nectar ocean of your pastimes, which you enact when you manifest your personal forms to propagate the unfathomable science of the self. Those rare souls, indifferent even to liberation, renounce the happiness of home and family because of their association with devotees, who are like flocks of swans enjoying at the lotus feet of at the lotus of your feet. So all the fatigue of this material world is automatically gone. We know one word, aram. We say Sunday ko aram kar rahe. What aram? It is actually more fatigue. If you sleep more, also headache is there. Actually, what is the meaning of aram? Ajaram. Oh Ram, please come. Come and be in my consciousness. So in this way, the fatigue of the material existence is automatically gone. And here, intentionally, the family members have been spoken. Family members who are spoiling the consciousness. We are not talking about the family members who are increasing the consciousness. Because the family is meant to elevate each other in spiritual consciousness. But if the family members are not interested in devotional service, then what is the use of such family people? So they are only increasing our fatigue because they are more interested in material enjoyment. And to enjoy the material things, you have to work more. Actually, you become more tired. And when you have some sort of holidays, when you want to sleep, those material people, material-minded people, they say, "Chalo, let us enjoy. Let us go and enjoy in the outing." So whatever you have earned, that also went. And you really wanted to take rest, that also gone. Generally, people, they like to go for outings, especially when 31st, 1st, like these holidays come, they just want to go for outings. And they're what they're doing. They are not getting that real happiness. It is like the stag, which is having kasturi, which is having the kasturi in the body, but trying to search the fragrance somewhere outside. So people want to enjoy, but where to enjoy, how to have that mental peace, people don't know. They're just trying to enjoy somewhere, and there after that they become fatigued and tired and actually spend everything what they have earned and they come out. So what is the use of such family people? That is why it is said, this ocean which is having such monsters, actually you should read Kulashekar Alvar's verse, they are compared to the sharks, the monsters, who are actually trying to deprive you of Krishna consciousness. So just get relief from such family members. Instead, have the family members which will grow each other in devotional service. That has been spoken. Okay. Jumur, read. Jumur.
There is a similar statement in the 10th canto, 87th chapter, verse 21, wherein the Shastri, the Vedas personified, pray to the Lord as follows. Dear Lord, it is very difficult to understand spiritual knowledge. Your appearance here, just as you are, is to explain to us this most difficult subject of knowledge of the spirit. As such, your devotees who have left their domestic comforts to associate with the liberated acharyas, teachers, are now fully immersed in the devotional service of your lordship, and thus they do not care for any so-called liberation. In explaining this verse, should be noted that spiritual knowledge means understanding the self and the super soul or super self. The individual soul and the super soul are qualitatively one, and therefore both of them are known as Brahman or spirit. But knowledge of
Your voice. Your voice is not coming. Jumur.
Now it is coming. There are so many philosophers engaged in the matter of understanding the soul, but they are unable to make any tangible advancement. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that out of many millions of persons, only one may try to understand what is spiritual knowledge, and out of many such persons who are trying to understand, only one or two they know what is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this verse says that spiritual knowledge is very difficult to achieve, and so in order to make it more easily
Your voice is
attainable,
not coming proper. Keep your mic proper.
now
Or let you read and see, or let somebody else read. Neeraj Prabhu will read. Okay, Neeraj Prabhu, you read this verse.
okay.
This paragraph. Haribol. Okay, nobody is there. I will only read. Wait.
Mataji, were
Yes,
reading.
Mataji, I am just mic on.
Read.
There are so many philosophers engaged in the matter of understanding the soul, but they are unable to make any tangible advancements. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that out of many millions of persons, only one may try to understand what is spiritual knowledge. And out of many such persons who are trying to understand, only one or a few may know what is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this verse says that spiritual knowledge is very difficult to achieve. And so in order to make it more easily attainable, the Supreme Lord himself comes in his original form as Sri Krishna and his instructions directly to an associate like Arjuna, just so that the people in general may take advantage of this spiritual knowledge. This verse also explains that liberation means having completely given up all the material comforts of life. Those who are impersonalists are satisfied by simply being liberated from the material circumstances. But those who are devotees can automatically give up material life and also enjoy the transcendental bliss of hearing and chanting the wonderful activities of Lord Krishna.
Yes.
Hari Hari Bol.
So Lord himself appears to show that
Amazing.
devotional service to Krishna is the topmost. Beyond that, there should not be any other desire. Anya vilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavutam anugulyena Krishna anushilam bhakti ruttama. Just see, for that so many evidences have been given. Just for this verse, Anya vilashita shunyam. This is the key verse of Nectar of Devotion. There should not be any other desire except to serve Krishna. Jnana, that means impersonal liberation. We are not interested in that. Karma, that means for bhakti, we are not interested. If one is a devotee, then he should not be interested in both the things. Okay, any doubts? Any doubts? No doubt. All are liberated, huh? Liberated, or what is the real meaning of liberation? What is the real meaning of liberation?
Attached to Krishna.
Right?
मुक्ति त्वन्यथा
हाँ, वो
रूपम
भी कर लेना, और जो भी डाउट्स है तेरे वो तीनों चैप्टर के मैं कल ले लूंगी.
Understanding das.
या स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थिति जीवेर स्वरूप होय कृष्णेर नित्यदास. So what is the Nainu Manjari going to say? Nainu, what you will be saying?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
You are going to say like
Nanu Shilanam Bhakti Ruttamaha
Jai Ho.
Sarupadir Vinirmuktam Tatparvena Nirmalam Likena Rishikesha Nanam Bhakti Ruchitaha.
All of you have to learn this also verse. Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam Tatparatvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. We have seen the comparison also. Anya Vilashita Shunyam. These two verses are the most important verses of Nectar of Devotion. Even at night, 12 o'clock, somebody wakes you up and asks, tell these 2 shlokas. Immediately, you should get up and tell these 2 shlokas.
Mataji,
Will you
one
repeat?
request. Ask Naina Manjari, send this both the slokas audio. So that
You can
Naina Manjari's voice.
Okay, Naina Manjari's voice will hear these 2 shlokas. Will you repeat these 2
Mataji.
shlokas, Nainu?
Please ask her father to send audio so that we will keep and we try to learn like Naina Manjari. Thank you so much, Hari Bol.
You want to chant again? She wants to chant again. Okay, chant.
Sarvo adi vinirmuktam tatparvena nirmalam Rikena rishikesha Devanam bhaktiruchita uruchate
Jai Ho. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Anyapilakitashunyam Karmadhanavritam Anukulena krishnanu Devanam Shilanam bhaktiruchitaha
Jai Ho. Jai Ho. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha.
Hello.
See, Kulutata
Hello?
See, Kulutata and
Manjari?
Kulupati is seeing you.
Manjari?
Mataji.
मंजरी मंजरी तुम्हारा आवाज सुन रही हूँ मैं मंजरी बहुत अच्छा बोलती है बहुत
Hospital.
पार्टी हॉस्पिटल में बहुत अच्छा बोलती है क्लास
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
हरी बोल
Okay, we'll leave the room.
Okay, Mataji.